Economics, meaning and basic concepts. Meaning of economics. Economics is the study of how people, businesses, and governments use limited resources to satisfy unlimited wants. Since resources such as money, time, labor, and raw materials are not enough to meet every desire, choices have to be made. Economics therefore examines how these choices are made and how they affect production, consumption, distribution, and exchange. In simple terms, economics is about decision making in conditions of scarcity. It explains how societies answer questions like what should be produced, how should it be produced, who should receive it. Because of this, economics is relevant not only to national issues like inflation and unemployment, but also to everyday decisions such as spending, saving, and working. Nature of economics. Economics is a social science because it studies human behavior in relation to resources and needs. It looks at both individual actions and the functioning of the economy as a whole. It is practical in nature since it helps explain real life issues such as rising prices, poverty, taxation, business growth, and employment. Central economic problem: scarcity. The foundation of economics is scarcity. Scarcity means that the available resources are limited, while human wants are many and constantly increasing. Because of scarcity, no individual or society can have everything it wants. This creates the need to choose between alternatives. Scarcity does not mean complete absence of resources. It simply means that resources are not enough to satisfy all wants at the same time. This is why economic decisions are necessary. Choice and opportunity cost. Since resources are scarce, people and societies must make choices. Whenever one option is chosen, another option is given up. The value of the next best alternative that is sacrificed is called opportunity cost. For example, if a student spends time studying economics instead of working a part-time job, the income that could have been earned becomes the opportunity cost of studying. This concept is important because it shows that every choice has a real cost, even when no money is paid directly. Factors of production. To produce goods and services, an economy uses certain basic resources known as the factors of production. These are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. Land includes all natural resources used in production such as soil, water, forests, minerals, and oil. Labor refers to human effort, whether physical or mental, used in producing goods and services. Capital means man-made resources used to produce other goods and services, such as machines, tools, factories, and equipment. Entrepreneurship is the ability to organize the other factors of production, take risks, and make business decisions in order to earn profit. These four factors are essential because production cannot take place without them. Wants, needs, and resources. A need is something necessary for survival or basic living, such as food, shelter, and clothing. A want is something a person would like to have but can live without, such as luxury items or entertainment. Economics studies how limited resources are used to satisfy both needs and wants. Resources may be natural, human, or man-made, but they are always limited in supply. This limitation is what makes economic management necessary. Division of labor and specialization. A modern economy functions more effectively when people specialize in specific tasks. This is called division of labor. When workers or producers focus on the activities they do best, productivity usually increases. Specialization saves time, improves skill, and often leads to greater output. For example, one worker may focus on cutting material, another on stitching, and another on packaging. Together, they can produce more than if each person tried to do everything alone. Microeconomics and macroeconomics. Economics is usually divided into two main branches: microeconomics and macroeconomics. Microeconomics studies individual economic units such as households, consumers, firms, and individual markets. It examines how prices are determined, how consumers make choices, and how businesses decide what to produce. Macroeconomics studies the economy as a whole. It deals with large-scale issues such as national income, inflation, unemployment, economic growth, and government policy. In short, microeconomics looks at small parts of the economy, while macroeconomics looks at the entire economic system. Demand. Demand refers to the quantity of a good or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at different prices during a given period of time. Usually, when the price of a product rises, people buy less of it, and when the price falls, they buy more. This is known as the law of demand. Demand is influenced by several factors, including income, taste, population, expectations, and the prices of related goods. Supply. Supply means the quantity of a good or service that producers are willing and able to offer for sale at different prices during a given period of time. Generally, producers supply more when prices are high because higher prices can increase profit. This is called the law of supply. Supply can be affected by production costs, technology, taxes, natural conditions, and government policies. Market equilibrium. Market equilibrium is reached when quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. At this point, the market is balanced and there is no tendency for price to change unless all side conditions change. If demand is greater than supply, a shortage occurs and prices tend to rise. If supply is greater than demand, a surplus occurs and prices tend to fall. Utility. Utility is the satisfaction or benefit a consumer receives from using a good or service. Different people may receive different levels of utility from the same product. Economics uses this idea to explain why consumers choose certain goods and how they allocate their income. Marginal analysis. Marginal analysis means examining the additional benefits and additional cost of one or more units of a decision. Economists often study choices at the margin because many decisions involve small changes rather than complete changes. For example, a producer may ask whether producing one more unit will add more to revenue than to cost. If the benefit is greater than the cost, producing more may be worthwhile. Production Possibility Frontier. The Production Possibility Frontier (PPF) is a model that shows the maximum possible combinations of two goods that can be produced with available resources and existing technology. It illustrates scarcity, choice, and opportunity cost. A point on the curve shows efficient use of resources. A point inside the curve shows underuse or inefficiency. A point outside the curve is currently unattainable with existing resources. Economic systems. Different societies organize economic activity in different ways. The main types of economic systems are traditional economy, command economy, market economy, and mixed economy. Traditional economy. In traditional economy, production and distribution are based on customs, habits, and traditions. Command economy. The government makes the main economic decisions, including what to produce and how to distribute resources. In market economy, individuals and businesses make economic decisions through the forces of demand and supply, with limited government interference. In mixed economy, features of both market and command systems are combined. Most countries today have mixed economies. Basic macroeconomics concepts. Gross domestic product, inflation and unemployment. Gross domestic product, GDP. GDP is the total value of final goods and services produced within a country during a specific period. It is commonly used to measure the size and performance of an economy. Inflation. Inflation is a general rise in the average price level over time. When inflation increases, the purchasing power of money falls, meaning people can buy less with the same amount of money. Unemployment. Unemployment refers to a situation where people who are willing and able to work cannot find a job. A high unemployment rate usually indicates weakness in the economy. Positive and normative economics. Economics also distinguishes between two kinds of statements: positive economics and normative economics. Positive economics deals with the facts and cause and effect relationships. It explains what is happening in the economy. Normative economics deals with opinions and value judgments about what ought to happen. For example, inflation has risen is a positive statement, while the government should reduce inflation immediately is a normative statement. Importance of economics. Studying economics is important because it helps people understand how resources are used, how markets function, and how economic problems arise. It enables individuals to make better decisions about spending, saving, investment, and employment. It also helps governments design policies for growth, stability, and social welfare. Economics is useful in daily life as well as in business, public administration, education, and national planning. So, the conclusion. Economics is the study of human behavior in relation to limited resources and unlimited ones. Its core ideas include scarcity, choice, opportunity cost, demand, supply, production, and allocation of resources. It also examines broader concepts such as national income, inflation, and unemployment. By understanding these basic concepts, we gain a clearer picture of how individuals, firms, and entire economies make decisions.